Pat, I think the Twins are breathing a sigh of relief here. Now that they can finally put the Tigers and the Royals behind them here for now, they can start to make some hay and create some distance in the standings.
Yes, that's true. They end up 5-8 against the mighty Bengals, and Torkelson and Riley Green, their two phenoms, Twins are the one club that has really turned them into phenoms. Now, Torkelson, I like him as a hitter, but I really like that Riley Green. I think he's going to be a great player. So look out, baby. Next year when they go 8-5 against you, they might be in first place instead of where they've been all this year. So look out. I actually didn't see the game. I was driving back from Brainerd. I went up there to do something, and I was driving back, and I got back into the car just in time to hear the succession of jacks off Griffin Jacks. It was unbelievable.
I think you're on to a new idea with the changing of his last name, by the way.
Yes, wow. Jacks. Yes, Griffin Jacks. He hadn't been very good. I know they can come up with some stats, but he had all those games he lost early this year, and they were saying, well, cheap hits and all that stuff. Well, nothing cheap. I don't know. He's I was very surprised how good he was last year, and maybe this is more the norm, don't you think? I mean, he's okay, but he's that between Jorge Lopez and him, that strength of the team has not been a strength. Getting to Duran has not been a strength, and you can see now that they set it up so they got Thielbar pitching the eighth half the time if they get that far. So that has not been a strength, but it was that lineup though. Don't you think yesterday would have made Gardy proud? The day game lineup with Mike Redmond hitting third. That was a nice B squad lineup.
We had Solano playing first. We had Vasquez and he's the lesser hitting of the two catchers.
Yes,
Farmer as the starting shortstop. It was. Although the top of the order. You got Julian Polanco's kind of coming around. Old Polanco's coming in. Max Kepler has got the OPS up to almost 800.
And Julian had 4 hits, so it's hard to knock that. But I didn't see it, but it did sound like they did hit him one ball in a big situation, and he fumbled it a little bit and didn't get the out, and that helped start a rally. So. Am I wrong?
And Polanco was, and on Tuesday night, the game that you were at, and I heard you ask Baldelli about this and sort of got blown off as, Polanco can play anywhere. He was great at second base. This is my point. Yes. He needs to be playing second base.
Well, on that game Tuesday night, he got him 3 outs they wouldn't have gotten. He turned the double play after Correa made the great play in the behind the third baseman, behind Lewis. And then 2 plays, one to his left, one to his right, that Julian would have, even if he got there, they would have hit him someplace, but not in the glove. So it was, there was 3 extra outs there in that game. So anyway, Royce Lewis looks pretty good, though, I got to admit. I've never been in love with his swing like I am with Kirilloff, but he's going to be a player, I guess, if he can play.
He finds the barrel. He finds the barrel. It's a weird way to get there sometimes, but
he had to. I noticed this Tuesday night. He kind of, when he takes a pitch, he's moving back off the plate when he doesn't like stay in the box, is firm in the box. I think he gives the umpire an excuse to. Maybe call it a strike. I don't know. It's kind of a weird movement that he makes, but hey, the success is there, and he is he's now played 40 big league games, 7 years after he got drafted. So
isn't that nuts?
He's got but if you look at Paul Molitor, I'm certainly not making the comparison, but Molly is what. Molly looked like he was heading for more games on the disabled list than he did in the big leagues, and then all of a sudden, the last 10 years, he played all the time. So
so his first 40 games here, and it's crazy because it feels like he's played more than that, but it's just because we saw him a couple years ago and he's been mostly injured. So 40 games, a 331 batting average in 40 games, Only 34 strikeouts in 149 plate appearances, which in today's game is actually pretty good. 362 on base and a 500 slugging percentage.
Really? Wow. Yeah. He's he's an athlete, that's for sure. So people love him. But I think the most interesting thing, and we talked about it Tuesday, is I'm hearing a rumor that they might be preparing Buxton to play a few games a week in the outfield
this year,
and not play all the time. In other words, instead of having him wasted in the DL position, they're starting to think mentally. I guess mentally, every time he strikes out, he goes back and sits in the clubhouse and feels miserable because he's not helping you. And I just heard that there's a they've got him doing some stuff that are baseball activities, so
interesting.
Play him there 4 days a week and let him, every other day or something like that. They're obviously gonna. The theory would be, let's try something different, huh? Because the DH deal ain't working. Plus, they want the DH available for all
Julian's your best DH because you need Polanco at second and Royce Lewis at third. Like this is the way to put your best lineup on the field is Buxton playing in center field.
And we don't ever have to again, as long as we live, play Joey Gallo in center field either, right? And he let a ball go by him. What's he doing in center field?
He's fine in the corners. But
he is. But
keep the DH open.
And how did Kepler get to dictate to them he's not going to play center field anymore? That's what you hear. He doesn't want to play center field anymore. Well, the hell with you. Cash your paycheck, and if we want to put you in center field, we'll put you there.
When's the last time, Pat, that they dictated something, though? When's the last time that Baldelli and the front office told a player, you know what, screw you? No.
I don't know. There might be some occasions, but we're never going to hear about them. It's not going to be like the good old days when Gardy or somebody, I'm going to find that guy, So,
Ron Gardenhire once walked into the trainer's room and said, he looked at Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer and said, boys, we're shorthanded today. You guys figured out between the two of you, one of you is playing right field today. That was when Luke Hughes missed his flight from Rochester to Minnesota because he was at the wrong gate at the Rochester airport.
It reminds me of the time that I was the official scorekeeper and a big pop fly fell down on the pitcher's mound, and Eric Soderholm and Craig Cusick were both there. And I gave the air to Soderholm, and he was screaming after the game, you should give it to Cusick. But neither of them touched it, And I said, I don't care. I'll give it to one, but that's an error. I don't care. One of you get an error, flip a coin. I don't care. But, and I think they flipped the coin, and Soderholm still got the error, and he was still upset about it. Yeah. But ball goes up, comes down. That's an error. So, are we concerned that Kirk and the offense looked terrible yesterday when we got down on the goal line? Interceptions, incompletions, they did nothing. Is it all over for Kirk? Is this a trend that we're going to see all season? What do you think?
Don't ask the coach that.
Judd tried to get that out of the coach, and the coach was not happy about it.
Not happy with the suggestion that Kirk had made a lousy throw, huh?
Yeah, well, I said, was that, as KOC likes to call it, was that an opportunity ball or was that just a bad pass? And I don't think you liked the question.
He didn't like he didn't. When they have a pet phrase and then you throw it back at him, they think you're being a smartass, which you probably were. But
were you like smirking when you said it, or what was your demeanor?
I have a tendency a lot of times when I talk to smirk, which drives Don nuts. So I'm accused of smart. Like I'm
he
sorry.
He thought you were being a smartass, and you
wasn't. I was trying to help out. I just want to know.
Opportunity ball. Yes, I were trying to give him an excuse, and he didn't want to take it. So today, we gonna get fights today now? Then everything.
Well, we already had one. Yes, we had a skirmish yesterday, according
Oh,
to.
did we?
Well, okay, Pat. So I made a prediction and write that down that there would be a skirmish of some kind, and we can figure out what that means later, right? And so we've had literally like 50 different listeners have sent us different angles of this, what I think is a skirmish. A couple guys are being pulled off the pile here. So we don't know what it was. These guys are denying that it's a skirmish.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one guy from Tennessee I read in the paper today that was very vocal as he was storming through our offensive line too. What was his name? Some defensive guy.
I don't remember who it was, but yeah, he was.
Am I the only one offended that these guys are all out playing in a controlled scrimmage and not Sunday when you're paying money?
Well, you're paying money to go to these practices now.
Yeah, but you're paying more money to go to an exhibition game. You know,
that's your fault at this point, I think.
Yes, it is. Well, I was at the dentist this morning. My dentist has got 3 boys, and he's taking them as a treat to the exhibition, to the game on Sunday night. And he was just getting ready to, do some drilling in my mouth. So I didn't want to say, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah. Why are you doing that? Take him to a real game, for goodness sake.
Plus, you're a dentist. You make a lot of money, guy. I mean, come on.
BS.
Take him to take him to week 1, guy.
A normal guy, like if you're just a average Joe, then the preseason game's a treat. For the son and his buddies of a dentist, that's just a cheap ass dentist.
Yeah, well, he's a really nice guy, and I think he's not a student of what he's going to be paying to watch, So it's anyway. He did. I did have to break out my own line. Now this doesn't apply to these Vikings because I don't know them, but my old line when somebody says I love the Vikings, and I say that's because you've never met them. Back in the Denny era, that was the go-to line, the Vikings. But it'll be hopping downtown Sunday night. Huh? You got Saturday night. You got the Vikings and a lot of people leaving early, and then 25,000, maybe 30,000. The Twins probably got some promotion going Saturday night, don't they? So they'll have a decent crowd. What do they got going? They usually on a Saturday night have something going.
Yeah, they got to be doing some sort of, maybe they're giving away. Let's see, is it like a Dallas Keuchel whiplash bobblehead potentially?
He's pitching Sunday, right? He's pitching Sunday.
They got him back, so they're skipping him and then they're putting him back in. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, 8 days off to get more juice on that fastball. I got to think he's got one more start, right?
What's the date on Saturday? I got a list in front of me here.
19th.
Oh, it's the 20. It's the 19th.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the 20th, we've got. So there's nothing on the 19th. We do have Kids Toy Tractor Day on the 20th, though.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. That's the 19th. So that's the deal. So I was up at Brainerd yesterday. They got the NASCAR race. In the drag races this weekend, and these people start pulling in their campers like on Monday, and they got it's kind of an older crowd, the drag racing crowd, but you remember Terry Ferris, Judd, our secretary, and her husband and her twin brother were in a group of 5 reprobates who were hitting it hard at Wheelie's Bar at noon on Wednesday, and they're going to have to stay. They got to make it to Sunday, for God's sake. That is a long weekend. They got people pulled in there last week. Most Minnesotans, it's August. We're gonna go to the lake for a week, right? Take the family for a lake. They got these people that pull into the campers, these gearheads. They pull into the campers. They've been doing it for 30 years, And of course, Brainerd's got more property to park RVs on than any place in the world. So it's still one event up there that creates a big crowd. They're gonna have 30,000 people there on Sunday.
Yeah, Pat, did you ever consider getting like a cabin up near Brainerd at any time in your life? Are you ever flirt with being a cabin guy?
I had relatives that had, a lot of relatives. Which the best thing is to have a relative who's like within a mile of.
That's why Declan's marrying into a cabin family.
That's what I'm doing, Royce. Yeah.
And be sure you work Fridays till like 3 or 4, so you can't get up there in time to mow the lawn, because that's the big.
I got a better hack for you. I golf Saturday morning, and then I drive up to the cabin while she has already been up there with her mom the night before.
The lawn is mowed for the week, and then you got to. I once wrote a column that they ended up running on the front page of the paper. Yes. If it had been the internet era, I got 400 or 500 letters bad mouthing me. I talked about the stupidity of cabin ownership. That you drive up there, and you got to get up there to mow, right? You got to get up there before the mosquitoes. By the time you start mowing, the mosquitoes are out. They're coming after you. They're killing you. And then you got to get back Sunday early. Get up Sunday and beat the traffic coming back home. So you're up there like 36 hours, and your main task is to mow. Plus, if you have kids, like once they get to 12 or 13, they have no friends anymore. Those kids, the neighbor kids, they used to get invited to the cabin, blah, blah. Now they're saying, no, thank you. I'm not going. They make up some phony excuse so they don't. So your kids basically become isolated from everybody else.
Yeah, they become weirdos. Yeah, so you're basically saying like cabin people have weird kids is kind of the summation of this.
Because they lose all their friends because they make the kids go to the cabin. And the kids want to have some friends at the cabin, but the friends get smart when they get about 13 and 14 and say, no, I can't make it. We got something else going on, because they don't want to be up there. And then if it rains on the weekend, that's really fun when you're in the cabin, right?
The cabin lifestyle is for people who don't like to really work, though, because if you've ever had anyone in your adult life who has a cabin, they spend more time not working at their real job so they can go to the cabin. Patrick and I had a mutual friend at work who would leave like at 1 o'clock on Fridays. I gotta go up to the cabin. It was the best way. It's a way for people who are lazy about their job not to work at their job.
Yeah, but when you get to the cabin, then you start working. Then you start working at the cabin.
It's outdoor work. They don't mind that. They don't want to do their real job.
Plus, as you said to me, the other thing about eating at the cabin, when you eat in the cabin, you go outside. Flies. You get the potato salad. It gets warm potato salad. Flies.
Fly
hamburgers. I got a brother-in-law at a cabin. He fried the hamburgers until they were like hockey pucks. He thought that was get all the God, I hate cabins. Yeah, I hate the concept of cabins. No, I never.
Now an Airbnb where I don't have to do anything.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
For me, Airbnbs have taken over any sort of like want to own a cabin.
That's not a cabin though. That's luxury.
I know. I'm saying no.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's a luxury? Owning a cabin, owning a second home isn't a luxury, but like renting
Not if you own a real cabin where you have to work. No, that is a pain in the ass. That is not a luxury. A luxury is when everyone else does the work for you.
Right, but it's cheaper to just do Airbnbs.
Right.
You can hire somebody to do anything. That's the deal, and I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's impressive.
You've earned it. Yep.
Yes.
All right, Pat. Yes. We got to run, but we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Come on, Kirk. Shape it up today. The entire Viking fandom is in a panic after your rotten performance yesterday. It was too many. We don't want so many opportunity balls. We want accurate throws, right? All right.
See you, Pat. Oh, man. Reusse Unchained today. Presented by our friends at Power Lodge and Miller Marine. Whether you have a cabin or an Airbnb or any sort of body of water, maybe you should go to Power Lodge Miller Marine and get into one of these awesome Bennington pontoons as Power Lodge celebrates 25 years of bringing action and excitement to Minnesotans. Yes, there's Judd right there. There's Judd again right there.
Look at that
That's his outside his cabin.
Gray.
Yes, he's just gotten done mowing.
I like this. It's the cabin I can't handle.
Oh, man. PowerLodge.com and MillerMarine.com.